pleased with getting a win. Can't thank the crowd enough. I thought Beaver Nation was huge tonight from start to finish. Making it hard on an offense, feeding off that energy, and the guys battled for four quarters. Defensively, obviously great effort. I thought a nice response from last week where it didn't go our way. They came out from the start and wanted to fly around and make a point and play really well, and they did. Offensively, I do think that first drive was huge, taking the lead 7-0, and goes into halftime that way, and then being able to score first in the second half. Silas Bolden was lights out, made some huge plays. The guy's dynamic when he gets the ball, and he definitely was tonight. So, really pleased. That's a good football team over there. And this conference schedule is going to be that way, week in and week out. You got to be ready to battle, and the guys were ready to go tonight on a short week. And so hopefully we can take advantage of getting an extra day next week.
After playing uphill last Saturday and losing the game, what did you see from your guys early this week that made you think that they were past that and ready to attack Utah?
Right, I do think they were excited to play. They knew the challenge, how good these guys were. Got into the game, again, the crowd helps, and you get a lead early. They understand how long these games are. Momentum swings, scores can happen, and they played locked in for 60 minutes, and we're gonna have to do it each week because these college football games are tight, and especially against a good team like that. Utah's really good on defense. And knowing that, until you separate multiple scores, these things can come down the wire.
A lot of people are going to talk about the defense tonight, but offensively, how impressed were you with how you guys played, given with the defense you saw out there?
There's some things to like, because you're right, they are good on defense. That's why I'm back to the opening drive, getting 7 points right off the top. It actually added to our confidence. And again, we battled throughout the first half. I did think we had some chances at the end of the half where moved the ball to the 50, and then we didn't get something done. So going into halftime, I think there was a little bit of confidence there, knowing that it was going to be they were going to make some plays and make it hard. And Silas Bolden shows up. I mean, we throw the quick out, can't get him down on the ground, make some guys miss score. Knew on the 4th and 1 short yardage play they were going to dig in there, and we were going to gamble and take the chance. It's pitching this thing out to Silas, and he does it. So was pleased. We got the 1 turnover offensively, and so that made a difference in the game, that we weren't just giving them the ball.
Ooh, that's loud. I know they were missing their quarterback, but there's not many times over their entire time in the Pac-12 where Utah's just been bullied on both sides of the ball like that. Did you get that impression from the way that your guys played today? And just how have you guys gotten to that point where you take a traditional power like at Utah and you kind of just give them their game back in their face?
Well, again, we got a bunch of respect for that program. I feel like that Utah makes the game physical. We want to be about that as well, both sides of the ball. And so, with our style of play offensively, defensively, we want to fly around, challenge, and make it physical. There's no question that, Cam Rising makes differences for those guys, but he wasn't there tonight, and I did feel like we made the game physical on both sides.
With as good and complete as their defense is, what did you think that you could exploit coming into the game?
Yeah, I don't know about exploit. I mean, we felt like it was going to be tough to go 12, 14 play drives. And so taking some chances, taking some shots down the field, chances sometimes arise on 4th and 1, short yardage, and so pushing the ball down the field that way. I appreciated the mentality of the offense because they knew, it wasn't always going to be easy, but we're going to keep battling and keep fighting. When opportunities arise, you got to make them hit, and we did.
When it seems like the offense sort of sputters at times, do you guys ever get down knowing that, we've seen it now 2 times at least, when you're wide out Silas and Anthony on the other side, that just one time that they get the ball, they can just take off and score?
Yeah, again, we don't get down, I wouldn't say, but we're competitive, and when it doesn't go right, and I'm not feeling awesome, we do feel confident that when we get those guys touches, Anthony and Silas, and let alone Damian can make some plays with the ball. And that's general offense, man. It's hard to go 10, 12, 14 plays all the time. You need some big creases from athletes who can make plays in space. And we do feel like we got a couple of them with Anthony and Silas.
A couple questions about the Aiden drive. What did you see from him? And when you take DJ out of the game like that, what are you hoping that he sees from the sideline?
Right. It was a little bit we want to get Aiden some time in some real situations. The guy's a good player. I was actually pleased with what he did when he came in. Didn't get protected well, made a big time throw to Irish. If he gets some better protection, I think we got some stuff for him. And we communicated to both guys leading into the game that this was the plan. We're gonna give him a little time, and then DJ's coming back. DJ's been an awesome teammate since he's been here. Him and Aiden been working hand in hand through this whole thing. Because both of them cheering him on. So, you know, there's probably some small value for DJ to come out of the game, see the game from the sideline and get back in, but it was more about just one experience for Aiden.
Mascarenas has become a real playmaker for you on the defensive side. Talk a little bit about him and how he played tonight and what you like about his qualities.
Yeah, he's a really good player, knows the scheme, ultra competitive, but the guy's got some legitimate leadership on that side. I mean, his voice, his work ethic in practice, guys rally around him, can make all the calls, getting us lined up, which isn't easy stuff. To make the calls, get guys lined up in a home field advantage that we've got, it is loud. It's hard to communicate. He's got him dialed in. He's a huge part of what we're doing on defense.
Jonathan, what did you get Trent Bray for his birthday?
Yeah, me and Trent, I didn't even know it was his birthday. That's how we operate. And so he was more or less giving me gifts tonight, at least, on how well they played.
And then you never know when the cameras are on you. And in the fourth quarter, there was the moment when you appeared to be massaging your pectoral muscles. Is that they're in there? Is that milking the clock? And then who is responsible for designing the signals that go from the sideline?
Yeah, so they gave me a heads up that was out there just about 5 minutes ago. I got to learn the signals because I'm actually not giving the correct signal offensively. They told me what was the better signal on that. It got communicated, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get things communicated.
Jonathan, when you talked on Monday, you mentioned, you liked the response on Sunday from practice, and then you mentioned you would be curious to see the leadership and how it responded, throughout the week and whatnot. Easton and DJ both told us great days of practice on both sides of the ball. How much does that kind of speak to this new group of leaders that you mentioned, how quickly they can bounce back against a really good team?
Yeah, it speaks a lot to them. I do think they've bought into the approach. These things are week in and week out, and however the score settles, even tonight, we're going to go back to work and approach it the same way. And some of these guys have been around a long time. Some of these guys like DJ hadn't been as long. But we got a mature group that way. The leadership, it's player-led around here, and they went to work this week and played really well today.
Any early thoughts on James Rawls? Looked like he got a little banged up on that play.
I think physically he's going to be fine. He actually could have returned, but obviously with the targeting, he couldn't.
After the last couple games, obviously the accuracy issues with DJ and the receivers, how did you feel like DJ bounced back today?
I thought he played tough. I thought his decision making was good. He's not going to make every throw. A couple of throws here or there. I go back to this brand of running game and stuff. I was, without watching the tape, I was really pleased with his performance.
You said Coach Bray gave you a gift with that performance on that side of the ball. Like, what did you like most about the way they played, and what did you see different this week from them as they prepared?
And I won't say a ton new in watching them prepare. Again, they took a blow last week, let's face it. They didn't have the level of play they wanted last week. They wanted to respond. They went back to work. I know Coach Bray gets a lot of credit, which is due. At the same time, he's got a staff next to him. I look at Laney Suanoa, Blue Adams going, Anthony Perkins, and that group on that side. They were challenged this week and wanted to come out, especially at home, knowing the advantages that takes place, is to have a way better performance, and they did it.
After last season, obviously you guys lost quite a few people in that secondary, but it seems like it's just been kind of drag and drop because there hasn't been much of a drop off in that secondary. What does Blue do with that group that makes them so special?
Yeah, he's done a nice job because we've rotated more players. Even tonight, we played some other players that even weren't playing in week one. Ryan Cooper goes outside. Josiah Johnson's getting some time at nickel after Noble Thomas makes his first start. He's playing some nickel. He hadn't played much at all this first three weeks. So Blue's done a great job along with Perk. That group, we feel like some depth and guys are ready to go when they're held on.
I just have a really quick one.
One more question.
Jaden Robinson, he didn't play the second half. Is he anything
Not long
serious?
term.
Okay.
It was more of a hamstring.
One more.
how's the feeling compared to a big time win at home as a coach versus when you were a player?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I think as a player, it's probably ready to go celebrate more after the big time win and, you know, downtown Corvallis and hopping around. I think as a coach, I will not be in downtown Corvallis tonight. But it's similar in ways, like you got your teammates when you're a player and you go celebrate, and now, you know, even that coach's locker room's a cool place to be after a big win.
Thanks, Coach.